And again, like women are so often derided and dismissed as touchy-feely for saying peace. Peace is not easy. Peace is not simple. Peace is a full-time, like,
It's active. It's not just
out knockdown battle. And
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely,
well, look at nonviolence is not without violence. Not
absolutely.
met with violence. Look at Alice Paul and the suffragists. Look at Mahatma Gandhi and Nehru. They all suffered violence. I mean, it is a very uh, uh, um, difficult thing
And
to.
it's also not without, I mean, we will disagree. We have different positions. People, it's about managing your disagreements. It's not about having no disagreements. So,
Right.
that's also yeah, but you're right. I mean, I think when people hear peace, they think, oh, that's not as important as the economy or other things. They don't quite see that these things are all wrapped up to.
And if you don't have peace, you don't have anything. You don't have anything else. And I don't want to keep returning to it, but I do just want to talk about, right? Like we are going to start to see boots on the ground in
Yeah,
Venezuela.
yeah,
And I think that's really going to start affecting people when their sons and daughters have to go to a country that never did anything to us, that we have no business being in. And that's not only going to cost us money, but cost us lives.
that's
And
right.
all the while, we can't even pay for healthcare anymore. And
That's right.
not only, I want to go back to this idea of someone, a high profile figure needs to organize this. And maybe I'm wrong. And please let us know in the comments if you think I'm wrong. I would kind of like to be wrong on this point. But, you know, we, more than any other time since, I would say, 1970, we have an opportunity to make peace popular. But
Yes,
it's done before the war, the
begin.
global war escalates.
You're absolutely right. Which is like we're talking about this week, guys. Like, yeah, we're not talking about like this year. We're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is, it needs to be both a very U.S. focused issue because our president is the aggressor, but also it is just absolute bewilderment, befuddlement, confusion. I mean, nobody agrees with us on this. Nobody. We've lost everybody. And I mean people in the financial markets in Japan. I mean just like anyone you can imagine, right, left, and center.
Yeah.
And so I think the other thing that feminism brings is this idea of solidarity. I love, I don't know if you know Christine Ahn. She and I did a live together a while ago, but she's got this movement called Women Cross CMZ, and she had all these amazing, Gloria Steinem and all these high profile women march across the DMZ. And the point of it was to say, as women, we don't care about all this fights between these leaders. You are women who are starving, and we care about you, and we can work this out. And I think that's another thing is, can we connect with women on the other side of this conflict and sort of elevate their stories too?
Absolutely. And I just want to point out two things. One of my favorite speeches was given by Frances Harper, who was a Black suffragist in 1866 at the first suffragist conference after the Civil War in New York City. And the title of her speech is "We Are All Bound Up Together." And it's about why solidarity between all women and all people is important to accomplishing our common goals, which seems quite obvious. And yet it is a radical idea and one that we need to embrace. And then secondly, I want to go back to what you were saying about how women don't care about, are more interested in each other's well-being than in what the leaders are doing in boardrooms. My first book was about Dickie Chappelle, who was a combat photographer. But one of the things that she interestingly did was document post-World War II rebuilding efforts, pre-Marshall Plan in Europe. And this was a brutal time.